Hello and welcome to Project Freelance. This is a podcast all about freelancing, whether you are a photographer, videographer, drone pilot, or an entrepreneur of any kind. This is a podcast that I created to interview and, frankly, educate myself on how to do business better. I have a lot of my friends come on, I have businesses come on, and people that created products, different companies, to share their story about how they created their own business, the mistakes they made along the way, so that I and you, the listener, can skip those mistakes and get farther ahead faster. This is Project Freelance. Welcome to the show. So this week on Project Freelance, I am very excited to share with you my guests, Michael and Perry. They created a group on Facebook called WheresSpot. It actually was created before Facebook even existed, but for the sake of this conversation, we are talking about the Facebook group. It is a page where you can get photography and video gigs as a freelancer. And also if you are looking for a creative person, a director, a DP, an AD, whatever it is in the production world, this is an amazing resource to find vetted and reputable creators that can help you with your next project. I've been using WheresSpot for several years now. I absolutely love it. I recommend it on my YouTube channel as a resource for people that are looking for freelance gigs. But also, Michael and Perry are now branching out of Facebook and creating their own website for WheresSpot. It's wherespot.com. It is currently in beta testing. If you want to sign up now, you can. We will be talking about the stage it's in and what they hope to get out of wherespot.com. But thank you guys for tuning into Project Freelance. If you are new to listening to the show, please subscribe. And if you like what you hear, please leave a rating and feedback. It helps us find a broader audience of creators and listeners just like you. For now, let's dive into this episode. This is Michael and Perry from WheresSpot. Gentlemen, welcome to the show. Please introduce yourselves and who you are.
Perry Schaefer, longtime prisoner of advertising. I started as a PA, did it all, location scout, guild AD, producer, had my own production company. For the last many years, I've been on the biz dev side. We call ourselves reps in this cottage industry. And so I'm very oriented towards commercials, but, of course, everything's changed so much. Had a brain fart many years ago and started this thing called WheresSpot. Michael, bless him, joined me shortly after that. And we've been doing this for a long time. And there's a lot to unpack about that.
Hi, I am Michael Port, a longtime WheresSpot partner with Perry. Over 25 years we've been doing this. And it comes from both of our commercial backgrounds. I started off as an agency person, moved into production, moved into editorial, had a large editing company called Mad River, and then sold that, started a company called Audio Engine. So I'm basically a promoter of commercial businesses, doing television commercials, production, audio, video, editing, the whole thing. And then in the last few years, we've concentrated on trying to do new things with WheresSpot, and I think that's what we're here to talk about. Which is fun and not very profitable, but it's a good thing.
Baby steps, baby. Come on. Baby steps. So you guys started the WheresSpot Facebook group in 2010, and Facebook was created, 2006, 2004? Somewhere around that time. So, I mean, in the lifespan of Facebook, pretty soon after the creation of the platform. I mean, I remember when my friend's sister, who was in college at the time, invited me to Facebook. Like, I don't think the next generation understands. You had to be like college accredited to get onto the platform, and now it's just anybody and everybody. So what have you guys seen kind of over your time of running the Facebook page?
Complicated.
We have a complicated relationship with Facebook.
As we all do.
Exactly. I mean, should start by saying we were on numerous platforms before that and came to Facebook. In a way, we were kind of conceding that at that time there was no uh, real path for us to create our own platform that could compete with it, actually. So even though we knew we were making a deal with the devil, we chose to do it. And again, there's been a lot of ambivalence since then. It's uh, in certain ways good for users, and that's always our focus, our users. Um, there's a lot about it that works, and obviously, most everybody is on Facebook. But I'll emphasize most. That there's a new generation that's not that into Facebook. So that's sort of out there as part of our continuing calculation.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, you make a good point. I've definitely seen a lot of the younger generation make comments about like Facebook's for boomers or like whatever. Like now, like they're saying the things we said about our parents and like the things they did and used. They're like the times are changing. Whatever. But what when you guys created that Facebook group, what was missing in like the photography videography community that you made you want to build this space?
Well, can I say that, as Perry mentioned, that we've been on numerous platforms,
Sure.
including, when we started this, Perry set it up as a email
Like a newsletter.
newsletter,
List
right?
serve.
Oh wow. Okay, yeah.
Listserv. So, I mean, from there to Yahoo groups
Sure.
to Google's, everybody's had a version of these things that we've tried out, and we in fact built our own version before we moved on to Facebook, which was basically Facebook. But what we realized when we did that was how complicated it is and how expensive it is and how much it needs a constant upgrade and all. So there's throwing all that away, right? That's the old stuff. The new stuff is right now we're on Facebook, but that's also in the middle of a revamp at the moment, and we're trying out some new things again. Um, but it's work and it's complicated and it takes people, and that's where we are now. We're working on that. So and there was nothing missing in Facebook. It's just complicated because people don't want to be on it. B, right. B, it requires they basically own those groups, right?
Right,
We don't
right.
own those groups. They
Not
own
basically.
no,
Yeah, completely. They
So
fully that's
we're
yeah. Yeah.
so we feel again we're kind of at their whim, and we see things change and sometimes break. There was an incident recently where a bunch of groups got like shut down, so we feel we're just vulnerable in a sense. um, and even on a good day, it's not perfect. It's not easy always to follow threads and find what you're looking for. So yeah, it's great, but it's not perfect.
right. There's a lot too that we wish that they would do, and if they can't do it, that's why we're trying to do it.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, so, when you guys created this, did you expect it to grow this big or was it more of like a let's see what happens idea? I mean, you got 29,000 members, I mean, that's a pretty significant number.
Right. Well, that's their number, and even though there's some validity to it, we all know there's the stated number and then there's the real number. But we're proud. We're proud because we know we have a lot of people participating. So it doesn't really surprise me because, not to be immodest, we see the value that it offers. In part, I'll just sort of pat ourselves on the back. There are a lot of other Facebook groups in production, but people tell us we're the best, and we know there are reasons why we might be because of how hard we work to vet members and moderate in a fashion and keep an eye on things and keep the culture right and try to keep it on the rails. Every once in a while there still are crazy sort of threads, but that's
Sure.
inevitable, right?
Of course.
Yeah. So no, it's really not surprising. Yeah.
So what goes into like moderating a group of this size, and like you guys aren't getting like a commission from these jobs that people get hired for. So like what makes it worth it for you guys, in the end?
That's a great question. Ask our wives. They'll say, you know,
God
we
bless
talk
them.
about WhereSpot as being for prisoners of advertising, and
Sure.
we're the prisoners of WhereSpot. I don't know. It's like, can we talk about that in our next session? It's like
yes.
it's
So
very
tomorrow, same time.
it's very strange.
Sure.
It's very strange compulsion or dream that we've made a few dollars over the years when we had our with we have a fundraising drive from time to time. No, if there was a God, we would make a commission. We just can't quit it yet. But do you want to buy it? It is for sale. I'm not entirely joking. I'm not entirely
I'll
joking.
give you this soda tab as payment. That's
There
all I
you go.
got.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, listen, as I said earlier, we've been doing this over 25 years, and and as Perry said, there was a moment where we were actually making some income, but it was just, we saw where it was leading. If you wanted to have income, you needed things to work a certain way. You needed to spend the money, and we spent a lot of money and made some money, but it didn't pay for itself. So even if you made some money, you're spending more money
I
than
think
you were
that's the
making.
Facebook model. Honestly.
Exactly.
Yeah.
I think you're absolutely right. And so we're attempting to figure out a way that our users could get more value out of it. And I mean, listen, there's a lot of value. People getting jobs every day. You're on it. You look at it, and there are people.
We've heard stories. We've
Grips,
heard
gaffers.
stories about directors getting big jobs and people practically building a business on
Yeah,
it.
I think Facebook's like so underestimated for like job hunting. Everyone like assumes you need to go to like an Indeed, but like if you go to Indeed, you got to like sign up to the company's website and then they like sell all your data anyway. So like it's kind of wasting your time. And as somebody that's been freelancing since 2014, I mean I've been on Upwork since before it was called Upwork. It was called Elance beforehand. So I mean I've been trying to like not only find better paying jobs and higher paying jobs, but also diversifying and getting off of just like Upwork or the other sites that are like that. And that eventually led me, which kind of ties into you guys, to build my own website and like work on my SEO so people can find me directly without having to go through these other avenues.
Good for you. Smart.
So can you tell us a little bit about what it is that you do that made you find
Sure.
WhereSpot and made it a valuable?
Yeah.
Or
I mean, so I do a lot of things out of kind of necessity. Like I saw early on that there was a need for a bunch of different skills. So I have a bachelor's in film production. I grew up overseas, so I studied partially in Dubai, and then I graduated with my bachelor's in Perth, Western Australia. Then moved to LA because I thought that's where I had to go to make it. Like they sold me the dream. But I do photography, videography, cinematography, if you will, video editing. I'm a certified and insured drone pilot. So like I kind of do everything because I see that if you have multiple skills, you can raise the value of your business and you raise your rates and you can offer like bigger packages to individuals, small businesses, bands, and I'm a musician as well. So I kind of like tied all my skill sets into like one conglomerate. And I found so much more value from going through something like WhereSpot because it lists not only your location, which like a lot of times on sites like Upwork, they just say like, I need a videographer. And you're like, okay, but where? And you have to like essentially spend money to apply to every job on Upwork. So like, why am I going to pay to like maybe not get a job in my area? So it was more like focused on the tasks that needed to be done, the rate that was available, and like a way to contact people. And something like you talked about how on your group, like things are kind of better than other groups, which is what you've heard. And I agree, because like on other Facebook groups, like people will either like low budget you, or they'll just be like, for experience. It's like, okay, well, I can't pay my rent with experience. Like I don't know what to tell you. I think people on WhereSpot kind of go there because they know that like that is one where the freelancers are reputable and vetted, but also like the jobs for us on our side are also pretty vetted. So I think it's a great platform, honestly.
Thank you. Thank you. It's funny to, step back into a broader conversation about freelance and rates. I was thinking about it because um, we've seen a lot over the years about how our membership has changed, and also the jobs that people are trying to staff have changed in our place. And it's actually a controversial subject because we come from commercials, and that was our focus early on. The rates in commercials are one thing, and a lot of rates in the real world are a fraction of that. But, and a lot of times people go nuts at seeing a job for a DP at, X $100 a day, when in commercials, high-end commercials, it's a multiple of that. And people are like, mad that we permit that. But our our philosophy is that, there's all types of jobs, and people need to work, and people are at different stages in their career. And so long as, and we're going to let the marketplace decide, if you don't want to play in that sandbox, just move on. Don't be hating on the people who are. So we've taken a stand about that, but still there are people who are not happy about it.
I mean, it is kind of an interesting point. I've had a few people that do work in like the commercial space on the podcast, and they've talked about the differences, kind of like what you just mentioned, between commercial space and freelance space. But I think like not every business or entity can afford a commercial DP's rate. Which is why these sites and groups like WhereSpot exist, also not just for the high end paying stuff, but because like there's such a surplus of work to go around, and like there should be an option for those people to be able to affordably get their content made and give us an opportunity to make that content for them, honestly. And I'm at a point in my career where I'm finally broken into like higher paying corporate jobs, which is awesome. But it's because I grinded and did those low paying jobs for somebody. You have to like cut your teeth and pay your dues before you can even get there. So I think people kind of maybe forget about that, especially if they've been in the industry for 20 plus years.
Yeah, things just have changed a lot. We also come from a world where everybody pretty much did one job, and that's it. You're a grip. If you're a grip, you're a grip. You can't be a
Exactly.
grip.
You can't.
And
Yeah, and everything.
yeah, and it's, we see when people fill out the form that we require all to fill, so we know somebody is like an actual human and belongs in the business and belongs in our group. Sometimes the jobs they list, well, look at yourself, right? Cinematography, drone, etc. That's, again, very, very different, and in many respects it's necessary, and it's just an evolution of the industry. I have a client where, the producers can fly drones, and that's a legitimate, in the corporate world, that's very useful and smart. You gotta just make the budgets work, and the budgets are less, and like, why not?
And there's a big difference between corporate work and commercial work. Why? I can't even answer that question because, yes, if you want something to look a certain way and you want it to be beautiful and perfect and whatever, you spend a little bit more money. But I've seen a lot of work coming from people like you who are doing multiple jobs, and the work looks great, and they can shoot it on their iPhone and it looks great. And so, I mean, it's all changed. And that's what people have to understand, is that you can't just sit there and hope that it's going to stay the same. It's not going to. And we have to allow for people to try to get those jobs and show their capabilities. And I mean, listen, I don't even want to bring it up, but AI, it's that's going to change everything again.
Just today, Coke came out with their new holiday commercial.
Oh, is it another AI polar bear?
It's a lot of AI. It's like, but it said something. They had like, there's something crazy about like, I'm gonna quickly find a link. It has super hyper real aesthetic built from more than 70,000 video clips. They're saying so they must have built their own model.
Oh my God! Yeah, they must have sourced
and on and
wow.
on. So yeah, there are people who are hating on AI, but good luck putting that genie back in the bottle.
Yeah, Pandora's not going back in her box with that one. I fear it's I was trying to make something in Cinema 4D today, and I've never worked in the platform, but I need to like make a. It's for a music video. This guy like shoots a Nerf gun, and I need to make the Nerf bullet like fly at the Matrix. You've seen the scene in the Matrix when Neo like dodges all the similar to that, just like goofy. And so I'm like in Cinema 4D, and I'm talking to some of my friends that are editors, and I'm like, can't I just AI prompt Cinema 4D to do this? For like, why am I doing this? And I think it's if you use it as a tool, it'll be a tool. If you let it take your job, it'll take your job. I think I do a lot of in the corporate space. I do a lot of filming for robotics companies. They specialize in like automation and robotics machinery for things made on a mass scale. And at first I was like, how is this worth, like, what's the ROI for real? Because I know how much these machines cost to build them, and then you have to pay an operator to kind of maintain the thing. But I was asking them, like, after you spend your millions of dollars on building this machine in like a month, 2 months, like what is the time it takes to see the money come back, like the profit? And they explained it to me. They were like, well, if you think about, if you have this big production line, you have to hire 12, 13 people, and they each do one task, and then for the next 30 minutes while they're waiting for the next part, they're just sat around waiting. And it's like, you still got to pay their full wage. You got to pay their insurance. You got like healthcare, like all that stuff. And I was like, okay, so I guess when you do add it up, it does kind of make sense. Not that I'm all for replacing every job, but I do also get that, like, companies have to maximize profits for shareholders and like whatever. So it's like, there's pros and cons to everything. You just have to adapt so that it doesn't take your job. That's basically what it comes down to. But for you guys, back into like your space. First of all, I feel like we should kind of go back and tell me where the name WheresSpot came from. I didn't even like ask you that, but I gotta know.
This is an easy answer. Back when I started it, when I discovered the technology that made it possible, there's a whole stupid story behind that, or funny story. Well, I'll tell it quickly. I was a hockey dad. I had a young kid who's not so young anymore, who was playing hockey, and I got an email one day, and it said, if you reply, everybody will get it. Everybody gets everything. And it's like, I had never seen anything like that. So I went to the bottom, to the footer, and I found a thing called ListBot that made that possible. And I realized, wow, that would be amazing in our business, because everybody wants to figure out how to do something they've never done before. And if we had the people with the knowledge, that would be great. You have to realize this is not just years before Facebook. this might literally be before Google. It was like Google and WheresSpot were like this in terms of when they actually started. So there was no way to do any of that stuff. So I'll never forget. And I have the receipts. I have the people who could testify. I was sharing an office with two dear people who are still friends of mine. And I said, okay, get over here. I want to start this thing and I got to name it because you can't do anything. You're setting it up. I said, okay, here's how I see it as a place to get questions answered, etc. So help me out. Like we got to do this in 5 minutes. It's not worth. And there was a book, and there still is probably out there, a kid's book called WheresSpot, about literally, it's still out there, about a dog. And somehow that I see it, and somebody said that, and it's like, okay, that sounds good, done. And that's it.
Wow. I mean,
the story.
I love the simplicity. You know, it's like you found something that kind of fit within like what you were trying to do and came up with a great name. And I think the keep it simple, stupid model is gonna win forever. You know, that's just the way. That's amazing. Do you remember, speaking of like, you know, before Google and like searching for answers, do you remember that text line called Cha Cha? You could just like text it a question. It would like answer you like instantly via text.
Maybe.
Anyway, like I only bring it up because it was kind of similar just through like text form and not through like a search engine or anything. But I bring it up because my godmother created that. And then she like sold it right before Google like blew up. And so she just was like, her exit was like perfect time. I was like, let's go.
Amazing.
Good. But it's cool to see. Like I love hearing how things were named and kind of conceptualized like that. So thank you for sharing. Hello, friends. Just dropping in here real quick. This is Editing K in the post show. How are we doing? Hope you're well. Hope you're enjoying the episode so far. I just wanted to drop in and give you guys a little piece of information. If you are a photographer, a videographer, or if you are a creative person and you are looking for a location to rent for your next project, have you heard of Peerspace? I'm sure you have, but if you have not, Peerspace is a website where you can go and rent a shoot location. It's similar to Airbnb, but people allow you to rent their spaces for your next shoot. Whether it's photography, videography, you can do events. There are event spaces, all kinds of different things that you can rent as far as locations go on peerspace.com. I am now an ambassador to Peerspace, which is really cool. I didn't even know I could do that, but apparently you can become an ambassador. And yeah, I love using Peerspace. I literally use it like I just booked one today actually for a shoot on Wednesday. I booked one for last week and used it for a shoot. I use this thing a lot, and if you are not on Peerspace, you should at least check it out. There's just like amazing locations all over the world that you can rent. But also they're relatively affordable. And if you are a freelancer, you can bake the cost of the rental location into the budget for your client so that they pay for it and it doesn't come out of your pocket. Definitely check it out. If you want to sign up for Peerspace, you can use my code down below to get $50 off your first booking. And by using that link below, you also help me out as a freelancer because I get some kickback, which is also awesome, so that I can book my next location at a discount as well. So thank you guys. That is Peerspace. Check it out. Love it. Use it all the time. But yeah, let's get back to the show. Thanks for listening.
Yeah, and it's interesting because really when Perry, first was doing this wasn't about jobs, really. It was more about, hey, I saw this commercial on air. Do you know who directed it?
How do we find the director?
Looking for a director to do there was no way to do that in those days. You had to call your friends and say, hey, what do you know about this? What do you know about that? And you had to search it through. And this was a way of automating that in a way. It's not automated because obviously people have to answer and people have to have the knowledge. But our community,
they really do. And I remember one of my first posts on the Facebook group was actually to find someone that directed a commercial. There was this commercial growing up. It was like the Canine Advantix commercial with the puppy, and he's going to camp, and there's like a song. And I was like, this is like a core memory of my childhood. Like, I need to find the guy that made this so I can like interview him for my show. So I asked like on the group, I was like, does anybody know who created this commercial or who directed it? And they tagged him, and like straight away he was like, I'd love to come on the show, share the story. So I mean, it's a very valuable resource, not only for a job search, but to find the people that are involved in these like, really well-known projects as well.
Yeah. Thank you, Michael. That's really was the inspiration. It really was not about getting jobs. It was like, how do I find out how to do this thing? I need to do like, I need to do plane to plane photography in Alaska. Like, who knows somebody? And this business relies so much on referrals.
For sure. Yeah. And
It's
people's
all,
like Rolodexes for sure. For
yeah,
sure.
yeah.
I've definitely seen
Uh,
that.
And it's great. What's great about the community, and I'll say this, is this wouldn't have happened if it didn't. This is a unique community. They love to share. They love to talk about what they did. They love to say, "Hey, I found this great helicopter pilot, and we were, and you couldn't get the shot like that, without a helicopter pilot like this." And when somebody needs somebody, they love to put that out. Oh, pilot so and so, Pilot Smith in Utah is fantastic, and that is unique, I believe, to our world.
Have you guys seen the types of projects that are kind of posted on your group on the page? Have you seen a shift since like the pandemic and the rise of like content creators, influence stuff? Like, I'd love to hear kind of about that.
well, sure. I mean, and we see it not just on the page, but I see it in my day job, so to speak. And yeah, I mean, the 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 where changed. Here's what I mean. When COVID came, it became important as it never was before as to where the DP and director, etc., are located because nobody wanted to travel anybody. Um, and also, as new generation of filmmakers have grown up into the business, there's more talent and there's an awareness of that. So over the last, you know, 5-10 years, it's COVID related and it's not. There's this awareness that like I don't have to bring, crew to, you know, Tulsa and Buffalo and I can, but I don't have to. Yeah, maybe I can get locals, in these categories who are competent. Um, yeah, it used to be like we have to bring everybody
Your
everywhere.
team, yeah, 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 definitely. I think that's a unique thing in like the modern times of hiring. Is that you can look for people that are competent and super talented in the areas that they live in, and it not only gives like them an opportunity as like a local, but then they build that connection with this group or the hiring party that may then fly them somewhere else. I've seen that in my own career several times. I've seen clients like they hire me locally, and then I just did one in Chicago. I just flew up to Chicago to do a conference last week. It's because people are willing to work with you again and again if you are a good hang, which is something we say in the touring world as a musician. You got to be a good hang, and also like you got to be competent and good at your job. And if you are those things, then like they are more likely to call you back for the next one. It's a really special thing that this kind of modern age of online hiring, if you will, has kind of provided for us. So let's pivot into what's next for WhereSpot. I'd love to talk about the website and kind of your plans for moving forward.
Yeah, thank you for asking about it. It's exciting for us. Where it's taken us a long time to decide on a platform that we thought had the potential to support what our users need. And we finally, settled on something, and very slowly, because we can't just throw money at it and hire an engineering team. We've gotten to soft launch, sort of beta place. And again, we're still very much in soft launch mode. We're not really talking about it much or promoting it or asking people. Yeah, I posted one thing on WhereSpot and delighted to see some people discover it. But, it's like we know it, we've got to it's a matrix. It's about having a critical mass of people, and it's about them finding it useful. It's very much a work in progress. Yeah. Go ahead, Michael.
And making sure it works, because the
That's
worst thing
broken.
you could do is launch something new
Yeah, oh yeah.
and it doesn't work,
Yep.
and then people
Yep.
leave, and then they're
Yeah,
Although
I
it's
mean,
funny,
first
there's a
impressions,
balance.
right?
Sorry. Yeah, it's true, but it's a balance. I think, what's his name? Reid Hoffman, who's famous founder of LinkedIn, once said, if your first version of a product doesn't suck, you've waited too long. And so, yeah, you don't want to wait too long. So, yeah, we've got functionality there, but it's not, we to get into like the details of what it does. I mean, well, we can do like job profiles there, which you really can't connect to Facebook, right? You can't have a user with their own page. We can do that here. And we've got a search functionality that we kind of have, but it's not really working right, where you can, instead of asking, you can just look for a drone pilot in Los Angeles
Wow, okay.
and
Yeah.
get a
So
result.
location targeted. Nice.
Yeah, stuff like that. And, on and on. But we know it has to really be easy for people to post, and notifications, right, have to work. People want to, and on and on. So there's like a bunch of features that we know are important, and that we, think, to get people to move off Facebook. Um, there's a certain bar to that user experience. Not to mention, nobody wants to like just even take the time to like sign up for anything new and create a password and all that other stuff. So, it's a work in progress.
right. I will say, to even though we all hate Facebook, we also love Facebook.
Sure, yeah. Very
Facebook
bittersweet. Yeah.
has created Facebook groups, and it works.
It
And
does.
it works well,
Yep.
and it doesn't crash, and it doesn't, disappoint. It only disappoints because we want it to do some other things.
That it can't.
We
Yeah.
can call them up on the phone. Hey, can you do this for us? Like, no, it's
No.
like they're not interested. And we have ideas that would be fantastic for them if we would just, all they need to do is hire us for like,
Yeah, it just hit you
and
up. Come on.
we would fix it all up, and they
Of
could,
course.
but they don't need to.
You're right, because what's working for them is working for them, and they don't need to. Yeah.
Exactly. So, I don't even understand how they spend the money, or whatever they need to do on that. I mean, yes, they make a lot of money.
I was going to say they have the infinite money glitch. In
Exactly.
fact, like they're
Exactly. So, we can't compete against that ever, and we're not trying to. But what we're trying to do is make that transition off Facebook, because people, A, want it, but B, we think that there are things that would be better for our users. And if we can make those things work, and sometimes it's not easy, by the way, we think, oh, we'll just throw this in there, and it's like, oh, it just broke everything.
Yep. No, I've built several websites. Things break very, very. You click one thing and you're like, I don't know why everything's upside down and backwards.
Exactly.
Sure.
So we've done a lot of that, testing and trying, and and we're at a place right now where we're feeling good. If we had a little bit more design, it would be better.
Sure.
But but other than that, we're getting there. And it's I think the users will like it. Will it change anything? I don't know.
I don't know.
I don't know.
I think the location tool is actually going to be really beneficial for people, because on the Facebook group you can like type in the search bar, but it's not like super great, So to be able to like have that location targeting, I think will help a lot of people, not only like for hiring parties to find people in a location, but also for us as the freelancers or DPs or whatever, like to be able to find the jobs in that area as well. If you can like do the inverse and let us use that tool as well, I think that'd be that'd be great. And I think, asking kind of the group at large, like, what are some things that you think would be beneficial for you as, as like a creator?
That's what it's
I think
about.
there's a lot of, exactly.
Listening,
I mean, you
listening.
use your community, right?
Yeah,
Exactly.
yeah.
Because they're going to tell you what works and what doesn't, like, very quickly, and how to make it better.
Imagine notifications tied to location, right? So you could have just come to you the stuff that is, important to you, and let you focus on maybe also, separate just, industry news versus jobs versus other stuff, and on and on.
There are
So yeah,
some
we have
drone
ideas.
websites for drone jobs specifically that do the location notification. So they let you know, like, hey, there's a job in your area. Do you want to, like, bid on it, or do you want to, like, submit your proposal? So it is being done, and I think that it'll be super helpful for you guys to kind of.
Good.
Yeah.
Let us know.
Oh, for sure.
Share
Absolutely.
the links.
Absolutely.
We'll steal some
that's
ideas.
what it's here for, right? Like, you got to borrow the good and get rid of the bad. But for people that are, like, trying to hire through WheresSpot, can you guys talk about some of the common things that are missing from, like, their posts, or things that you would, like, recommend for them if they are looking for someone to hire, or like because I see things missing all the time, like.
Be clear about be clear about the where, the when,
the W's,
the money. Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And what it is. I mean, just yesterday, the day before, somebody's asking about, like, VFX. It's like, how many subgenres of VFX are there? It's like, I need a director. It's like, come on.
For what? Exactly.
Give us more. What kind of director? Is it a food shoot? Is it a
what are we doing?
helicopter shoot in
what are
Alaska?
We underwater? What are we doing?
Exactly.
And what do you need to see on a reel for somebody to qualify? Like, and just be clear.
Be clear. Be what's the word? Be specific, but
like, overly be, like, very clear about what you need. I think, like, as much detail as you can give, like, and I think for me, as someone that's looking for these gigs, is, like, kind of the most frustrating thing that I see personally is that, sometimes you'll get, like, a job post, and it does say all the details, right? It's like, this much, this location, these dates, these times, awesome, love it, the rate, and you're like, that's a great rate, I'm definitely going to apply to this. And then you apply, and then, like, follow up, like, 2 days later with the person, and they're like, oh, the company decided to hire someone internally. And I'm like, why did you even make the post?
Yeah.
Now, sometimes they can't do much about that.
I know, but it's just, as a freelancer, you're like,
and
but it's real.
Sometimes people expect or hope for feedback, and for some, and
or someone has an idea. Yeah.
Perry's a rep, right? His job is to sell these things,
right?
And he works. I mean, I'm speaking for you, but he'll work sometimes 2 or 3 weeks on a project, and then they say, they changed their mind. It's like,
or they don't say anything. No, it's like,
they just ghost you.
That's that's like normal, and you just got to learn to deal with it. I once saw there was a panel discussion. I think for reps, it was entitled, like, if I see it on the air, I guess that means I didn't get it.
I suppose so.
Yeah.
Suppose so.
Yeah,
that's a good way of looking at it.
It's harsh. It's harsh.
It is harsh.
It is I'm kind of walking a friend through kind of the ups and downs of freelancing. The uncertainty that we have as freelancers, chasing the next job, if you will. And he was laid off from, like, a really good, gig with insurance benefits, the whole thing. He was with this company for years, and he started as, like, a low paid touring photographer, and then got this really nice job, and then just got laid off because when the Trump administration basically said, like, everyone has to go back into the office, he was like, well, I moved to Hawaii, so, like, right. I can't
go back to the office.
I can't go back to the office. They said I could do remote work, and so that'll change anyway. So he got laid off, let go, whatever. And now he's trying to, like, figure out what to do right now, like, in the short term, until he can find something else. And it's like, he's like, I forgot how stressful the, like, uncertainty of, like, where your next job's coming from. And unfortunately, I don't have an answer for like how to make that better. You just got to put the work in to find the jobs. You just have to do it. It's a full-time job looking for a job.
Yeah,
Both Barry and I have kids that are
Yeah.
in the business, and it is not scary is the wrong word, but it's a
takes
very
a certain
fraught.
personality to be able to handle it at all levels, and the better you are in the higher, even at the highest levels. I once remember being at a talk for like guild ADs, and there was a guy up there who was like had the most amazing, resume on like big movies. And when asked what the hardest part of his job was, he said getting it. Even at that level, right? You're just competing against better people.
Yeah, better people.
We see
the
that,
pool may be smaller, but like they're better. So yeah.
And the big commercials right now are being shot out of the country, most of them, I would say, right? So a lot of great talent that's been working for years is having trouble getting work right now. So that's a new and interesting, part of this whole scenario. It's like that changed everything.
And now Coca-Cola is using AI instead of finding polar bears in the wild.
Exactly.
Not that they've ever done that, but yeah, I mean, it's definitely a thing. I know that Los Angeles just signed like a law that you can't replace an actor with an AI actor, which I mean, I think that's great personally. Like, I think some things should be done by humans, period.
Let's see if that works, by the way.
Let's see how that goes. Yeah. Now, I mean, we're seeing it in the music space as well. There's AI artists that are like, and they'll get into the TikTok algorithm and then the song will blow up. Everyone's like, this is sick. And it's like, oh no, this is AI. Oh no, this is AI. What do we do? Like I just did a big video on this AI music group that like was clearly AI from like their band photos. Like one of them's like sat at a laptop and there's no trackpad on the, like, come on, you guys, like at least. But like Spotify was like pushing this artist. Like,
oh yeah,
the actual Spotify was like pushing this artist.
Spotify's making a fortune on these
fortune. And I mean, and what's his face is buying or investing into like military weapons. I don't know. There's a lot going on with the Spotify space, and like, yeah, it's crazy. But I will say that like I think you can never truly replace a good artist or like a real creative person with an AI. You just can't. And it sucks seeing like uber successful people pushing this stuff. I mean, look at like Timberland, like the producer. He just signed his first AI artist. What does that even mean?
Right.
Signed what?
Right.
Like, you're like the most prolific producer in pop, and there's so much talent out there, and you decide to go with AI because somebody paid you a bunch of money to promote. That's crazy, man. It's crazy.
Yeah. What a time to be alive.
Final question for you both is, what is something you know now that you wish you knew when you started this journey?
Oh.
There you go. Well,
like,
stew on that for a few minutes.
The answer to that is, what were we thinking? Yeah.
I say the longer I do this, the less I know. It's all just, it's been a really a very interesting journey. I think one thing though that's specific about WhereSpot is, we just I've learned how change comes at you fast. The types of posts we're seeing on WhereSpot, the types of people we're seeing, has gotten far away from what I intended, and you just got to embrace it and keep going, or you're gonna have a problem.
Right. Yeah, you have to really understand that there is no consistency in our business. It is a change business. It's got to change because they're trying to sell, in commercials specifically. I'm going to go back to what we started this for. It's, you're trying to sell stuff. It's not about art. It's not about
sales business.
It's business. It's like, oh, I need to sell, about 1 billion of these things. And if I don't, I'm out of business. So I don't care. if they're, if it's a beautiful thing. It could be anything. I don't care if it's AI. I mean, I don't care how I do it. As long as I can sell those things, if I'm the business owner, that's what I want. And yes, if it looks great and it makes me feel happy and all that, it's wonderful. But if it's not selling stuff, get rid of it. I started off in the agency business, right? So I sat in those rooms and it was basically, you want your job, sell some shit, So,
Yeah, it's the power of money to drive decisions, and to drive budgets, and the power of good enough in the eyes of the people paying for it. It's, good luck fighting that.
For sure. And thank you both for coming on and sharing not only the story of how you guys started working together and created this thing and kind of where it's going. If people want to sign up for the beta, are they able to do that now? Are you guys ready? Are you ready for them?
We're ready. Yeah, WheresSpot.com.
WheresSpot.com.
Go for it. Kick the tires and let us know what sucks. And we'll try to make it better.
There'll be stuff that's broken, but that's why we're not really
well. We'll push it. We'll push it to the limits, and then we'll make it better.
Okay, yeah, we're haven't really been talking about it yet.
Sure.
Because we know something's gonna blow up, but
that's okay. We'll still be there when you fix it.
Yeah, please kick the tires for us.
Thanks for the invitation, and congratulations on what you're doing. Very cool.
Thank you.
Good
guys,
job. Good job. And I'm really curious. Now I got to go look at your work because
I'll send you some links.
Okay, fantastic.
Awesome. Thank you both. Appreciate you. Well, folks, that was another episode of Project Freelance. Thank you to Perry and Michael from WheresSpot for coming on and sharing the story of how you guys created this amazing platform on Facebook and even before Facebook and where you guys are going next. Check out WheresSpot.com if you guys want to sign up. If you are looking for better paying gigs, definitely check them out. They are one of the best. I recommend them on all my YouTube videos on my channel where I talk about photography and videography, which is just the letter K Productions. That is the name of my company as well. And I've also started a side, it's like a branch off of justthelletterk.com called Ghostlight Captures. It's where my music related photo and video work lives because I was having a problem booking higher paying photo and video gigs within the music space because my main website was so oversaturated with the different various things that I do that artists and musicians and frankly Live Nation that you kind of try to get these photography gigs through for arena shows and bigger shows, festivals and things like that. It was becoming more difficult to get those gigs, so I made a separate website. But that being said, if you guys want to check out WheresSpot.com, I'll put a link down below. Thank you guys for checking this episode out of Project Freelance. If you guys need more tips and tricks, or if you want to hear more stories from other creatives and entrepreneurs, solopreneurs, definitely subscribe and check out some more episodes. I'll talk to you guys in the next one. Stay strong, keep enduring, go out and go create something. Thanks for listening.